I definitely think that Holiday in the Sun is Mary-Kate and Ashley's brightest, most sunshiny, colourful film. Needless to say, it's set in the Bahamas. It's taking us to a location where we expect everything to be bright and colourful and beachy and just putting us in that holiday vibe. Obviously, even though it's all holiday-esque, we are not going to be able to watch this without encountering any problems for the twins. The film was released in 2001, directed by Steve Purcell, and written by David Wagner and Brent Goldberg. Mary-Kate and Ashley star as Madison and Alex Stewart respectively, and while they are in the Bahamas, they cross paths with a man smuggling stolen artifacts. I've quoted that directly from IMDb. As with most Mary-Kate and Ashley films, they encounter a problem that really no teenage girl should be in charge of trying to fix, but they take it upon themselves to sort this out and resolve all of the problems that they come across in this film. As with every Olsen film, it's far-fetched, unbelievable and unrealistic, but fantastic fun. It is really good fun. I prefer city-based films. So I prefer Passport to Paris, Winning London, When in Rome, that kind of thing. I'm never taken by beach-based films. I just never find them as engaging because I prefer city life. But it's still very interesting and it allows for some really ridiculously beautiful scenery. I will say the Olsens show a lot of flesh in this, which is... Put it this way, I've seen those images used a lot on Thinspo forums and things like that. It wasn't the best decision because certainly shortly after this, Mary-Kate became one of the biggest Thinspos for a lot of people, which is awful and horrible, and I'm glad she's over that. But I think it was a bad decision, and I know it sounds really prissy to say that I don't think they should be bearing as much flesh as they do. But there are very vulnerable young girls watching this, and they are very, slender, and I think it could give off the wrong impression. But having said that, it's a minor thing, and maybe it's just me that gets caught up in that, and my emotions get caught up in that. The rest of the costumes are fine. The fashion in this isn't as striking as it is in a lot of their other films, but again, they're on the beach. They can't exactly wear high fashion. The film is good. The narrative is interesting. It's not, as I said, the most realistic, but certainly it's gripping at times. The development is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I guess Our Lips Are Sealed also kind of has a similar beachy water vibe. And out of the two, I definitely prefer this one. I think the Bahamas was an interesting setting, an interesting choice. It's not somewhere I would personally have chosen to set a film, so it was an interesting location. It is cheesy, it is over the top, it is unrealistic, but this is what you get from a Mary-Kate and Ashley film. If you watched this film growing up, I definitely recommend that you rewatch it, assuming you liked it, because the nostalgia is very real. It's not my favourite Olsen film, but I enjoyed it when I watched it. It came out when I was 10. I don't think I watched it until maybe the year after or so. I'm not sure when it was out in the UK. Watching it now as an adult, it's not great for an adult, but for nostalgia, it's brilliant. I think it's fairly safe, apart from the display of flesh, which may give a lot of young girls and boys some complexes. But I like it. It's good fun. It's easy to watch and may make you want to go to the Bahamas, which is not a bad thing. It's also the first time where they're not completely blonde either, I think, to my knowledge. It's a good film. Holiday in the Sun is an easy watch. It's relaxing. Not the best Olsen film, but certainly one that I'd still recommend.